For City Lights on Novus TV, I'm Corinne Grierson. We are here at the Tell Us World of Science, where a number of events are going on in connection with the Bodyworlds Bodies in the Brain exhibit. Let's go check it out.
It's an exhibit of real human bodies, and people can expect to see about 200 different specimens, and that's everything from individual organs to full body plastinates like the ones you can see behind us.
And this is different than the one showcased in 2006. Can you explain the difference?
Sure. People still get the opportunity to see all the different systems of the body, which they did in 2006, but this one's really focused on the brain. So what they've done is, through signage and different specimens, they've really focused everything on the nervous system and the brain, and basically how we grow, how our brains grow, and what makes us an individual, and then how our brains age. There are 20 full body specimens, and each one has been posed in a way that allows you to see a different part of the body, whether it's the muscles, the bones, the organs of the body, how they fit within, your chest. And then as far as the individual organ specimens, you'll see organs in health and disease, everything from gallstones to breast cancer.
And where are these bodies obtained from?
We have a donation program, so the Institute for Plastination accepts anyone who wants to donate their body to this process. We have about 11,000 donors worldwide. About 100 of them are Canadian, and they've come from other exhibits that we've had here in Vancouver, in Toronto, in Montreal. What it is in its simplest form is taking the water out of each individual cell and replacing it with plastic. So where medical specimens used to be encased in a block of plastic, now we're able to, they use this for students as well as for exhibitions like this for the public, we're able to put the plastic right inside the cell, so the organ actually remains almost as it was in life.
Now, I know this exhibit is an all ages exhibit. Who reacts more to it? Kids, adults? What are the reactions that you normally get?
We get all different kinds of people in here, so everything from really small kids to senior citizens, and we find that it's the adults that really are more like they have to, wow, this is pretty intense. The kids think it's great. They come in, they're like, what's that? What's that? Because they just don't have that same, they don't think there's anything wrong with, asking questions and learning more about the body, and so it's really, really fun to watch them in the exhibit.
It's actually pretty amazing. I was going to look at the skating thing. I like skating, so.
Were you amazed to see that your body does that when you skate?
Yeah, it's cool to see how your body kind of changes as you go into different moves.
Done a fair amount of study, for example, at university in kinesiology now, but never to this extent. We always would see it on film and so on. You'd see something preserved, but nothing like the plastinization, which gives it, almost gives the body a personality.
This is the ring man, and first you notice he's not behind glass, so he's one that people can actually get a little bit closer to, which is great because sometimes everybody experiences it in different ways. You can walk around him, you can look at him from the back. He has his skin on him, and what you can see in this is that the layer of skin is actually quite thin on the body, and then everything, all these organs that are so fragile are really just right below the surface. So it's an interesting thing for people to kind of look at, and they've done it in bands so that you can see different parts of the body as you move down in the chest. What does it look like in the abdomen, down into the legs? That really, we think of our skin as being completely impermeable. When you cut yourself, it's like, oh my gosh, but you don't think of it as being that big of a deal, but really, it's not a very thick layer.
While the Bodyworlds exhibit takes a closer look at what's happening below the surface, organizers aren't missing a chance to celebrate what happens on the surface as well.
Are you excited to see a tattoo fashion show at Science World? Oh my gosh, exactly. So we've got 5 brave individuals who are here bearing their amazing body work. So get everyone to come on out. There we go. Everybody, give them a big round of applause. Starting with Craig, MJ,
The Tattoo Fashion Show is part of our adult programming at Science World. So the third Friday of every month we have an adult-based event. Now tonight we've kind of opened up the doors so that kids can come as well, and we're doing a tattoo fashion show. I think body modification is fascinating. I think that we, in kind of a Western culture, an individualistic culture, really try hard to make ourselves look different. We do fun things with our hair, we pierce ourselves, we do this, body work. But really, when you walk through the Bodyworlds gallery, you see that we're all very similar. We all look exactly the same, and I think that's really fascinating.
They're all sort of mementos for different parts of my artistic career and professional career as a designer and an artist, and then I sort of tag them in. So the comic that inspired me the most, and going to Hong Kong and making connections that led to making toys there and that sort of stuff.
Amongst the many fascinating speakers lined up to complement the Bodyworlds programming is clinical hypnotherapist Kathy Walter-Nichols. She's an expert on how our brains perceive what's real and the processes that shape our thoughts.
All sharing, all the time through these neurons.
Well, I had an opportunity to work with people that were dying in a hospice and a hospital setting. This was individuals that were receiving treatment for life-threatening illness. Out of that work, I had done over 5 years of study at BC Cancer Agency, as well as working with clients in a hospital close to me. And the results that we were seeing were profound. One particular chap who had brain tumors, for instance, morphine would only last for about 20 minutes to suppress the pain. But when he did hypnosis with us, he would get 4 to 6 hours of pain relief. It was profound, and we weren't really sure what we were doing. This is quite a few years ago, but now I know what was releasing in his brain at the time was massive quantities of dopamine, massive quantities of endorphin, because this is where we go when we go into these deep trance states.
Are you listening? What's coming through for you?
How is this happening? How can the mind be this powerful to redirect thinking when we redirect ourselves away from fear and we teach ourselves how to be positive and expect a positive outcome? This expectancy of success and pleasure is really the thing that drives the release of what I call the positive internal pharmacy. And this is the one we don't stimulate enough. We're all about watching the news. Let's look at all the terrible things that have happened. I don't think there's anybody on the planet that doesn't have that image in their mind of the 2 towers falling. This just causes such a huge negative allostatic load in the system. We're always washing ourselves with that. How about if we started to bathe ourselves in beauty and pleasure? What would happen to us then?
The Bodyworlds Body and the Brain exhibit runs until January 9th, 2011. For more information on the exhibit, visit www.scienceworld.ca/bodyworlds. For City Lights on Novus TV, I'm Corinne Grierson.